every new realtor, and really every realtor, needs a buyer's guide in order to help them close deals and convert transactions, but mainly converting people from leads to prospects to customers. We've talked a number of times about how to convert leads to prospects, but now today we're going to talk about how to convert customers to, sorry, prospects to customers. Okay, so we're going to jump into presentation. Um, bear with me. Okay, so this is the fourth session, I believe, of the buyer's module. And today it's going to be focused on actually you guys building a buyer's guide. And we've got all the resources to do that. And I want you to know that usually people come in to the business a little bit worried about how to work with buyers, how to talk with buyers, how to interact. And I want to show you it's not that difficult. And something like a buyer's guide can help you really focus on the important stuff, which is the content, and allow the guide to kind of relax you and make sure the customer's comfortable with what they're hearing. Okay. So let's jump into it. Okay, so a buyer's guide is important for a number of reasons, and not the least of which is a way to help you establish credibility with your customers. Newer agents, a lot of people will maybe wonder how good you are or if they should trust you. So it's really important to establish that trust and credibility. And nothing's better than a buyer's guide, a physical, tangible piece of paper that you can share with your soon-to-be customers. The other piece is, please do not send people buyer's guides without meeting with them. So a buyer's guide is really a tool to use in a meeting. And if you start firing out buyer's guides, what you'll find is people will either read them or not read them, but they won't have any really incentive to find out why you believe the information in the buyer's guide would be important. And without that, we don't know what would be important to the customer. Okay. So it should be comprehensive. It should be tailored to your client. The ideal situation would be having a base buyer's guide, like a document that's a fixed buyer's guide, and then having a little bit more robust versions of that buyer's guide for each particular client. That's ideal. That doesn't have to be the way we do it right now, but I will show you that that it's probably beneficial when I show you one of my guides. So you want to deliver information through insights that you have. It's really important, this. Insights that you have. So things that you know that the client might not know. So learn how to find information, develop information, whether it's through your brokerage or through content online or through other realtors, but start to find out how to be more insightful than your customers. So key point here are there's ways to be insightful. Number one, you can know the market inside out, and that's probably the most important insight for a realtor to have. Amazingly successful realtors often know the market that they're dealing in. They also condense the market that they're dealing in to a fairly short, fairly small window of neighborhoods or areas. So know your area, have that insight, and be prepared to answer questions on the market. Now, earlier we talked about the things that hold people back. So the pain points that they have before making a decision to buy a property. Financial is the most important pain point in pretty much any real estate transaction. The fear that clients and customers and prospects and leads have usually are built around finances. So you have to be able to talk finances with a person in order to show that you have insight, that you have knowledge, and this will build credibility. Property selection is important too. Ultimately, what people want is for you to help them look for properties. So anything that you can do to show them tips and tricks and different ways to search for properties will go a long ways in allowing you to create credibility and in insight as well. Okay. All right. Okay, so we are going to work on the guide. So the premise of this buyer's guide is that you're in a position to allow people knowledge that you have that is unique to you, but also unique to the real estate industry. So the physical piece of paper. Sorry about that. So the physical piece of paper or pages of paper are going to be what will help you share information with people. If you have a guide or a book that you can share and walk through, and you can walk through all the points, it's a lot easier to share that value and explain and demonstrate the value than if you're just kind of talking off the top of your head. So being new combined with maybe less knowledge about markets probably should encourage you to build an actual buyer's presentation. Okay, so key points with the guide. Number one, you want to provide resources and additional resources that people may or may not know. Number two, we'll use Canva, and I'll show you how to use Canva right now to help you edit current buyer guides that we have out there. And Canva is a great way to do the visual on the document. So instead of sending it out for somebody to kind of create it visually and do the artwork and things, you can do it inside of Canva very, very easily. Okay. And then the final product is a guide. So the meaning of a guide is literally to show you the path moving forward. And this guide, this piece of paper or PDF format, is going to help you guys really show people that you know what you're doing. Okay. So now we're going to get into actually constructing and building a buyer's guide. And the way I would say you should start is nowadays we have so much access to information. So I would say start by going to ChatGPT or some other source, and start to prompt ChatGPT on what you would like. So think of the outcome being an ideal buyer's guide, so people can see what I do, and then also who I'm trying to attract. So a step-by-step buyer's guide with enough information in it that a person can enjoy reading it, and it has some flow, but it also shows the amount of information and knowledge that you have. Okay, even though you don't, if you don't have some of the knowledge and some of the information, the beauty of a guide is it's almost like a crutch. You have the guide. You can read from the guide, you can go through it with people. But again, if you just send this guide to somebody, you're very likely going to see it hit the dumpster, or a person reads it, but out of context. You haven't explained your value to them. So you just have to, I would suggest, and I would ask you guys that anytime you give out your buyer's guide, you are either on a call, a Zoom call, or in person with somebody, because that shows that you know what you're talking about. Simply emailing them a document that could have been created by anybody. So if you do a good job of building your guide, it could look fantastic, but a person could receive it and assume that it was written by somebody else. So you're kind of caught between having a good document and having a bad document. With a bad document, you could just throw it at people and they'll just be unimpressed with you, and that's it. Or you could have a great document and don't throw it at people, but share it with people and explain it to people and walk through it together with people and let people let people trust you. Okay. As I said, you can kind of go to ChatGPT. It's very, very straightforward. I, for instance, just as an effort in this, went quickly to ChatGPT, and this is kind of what I got. So I was looking for an instructional guide to create buyer-centric buyer's guide, client-centric, sorry. So this is just the raw results of ChatGPT, but keep in mind that you can use ChatGPT with good prompts or even natural prompts to come up with as much information as you need. Sometimes if you use ChatGPT, you can use natural language. So just literally, please, so this, let's just say this point here, include the title Home Buyer's Guide. You can ask Chat, so could you please include the title Home Buyer's Guide followed by a subtitle called Tim's Greatest Work, and then hit enter and ChatGPT will write a good script. More importantly, on some of the content stuff, you can narrow things down. So this will be in the group, but this would be, for me, step one in developing my guide. Step one would be to cover page. Step two, a welcome message. So these are the pieces that I would enter into ChatGPT and then add some instructions after that. So ChatGPT, I want these things, including, I want a welcome message from me. I want to talk to my clients about the buying process. I can add in here that I want to talk to first-time home buyers about the buying process. I want to talk to existing buyers and upsizers, and I want to talk to downsizers. So you can use ChatGPT to your advantage to develop the content of this this guide. Okay. So again, with the content, you might want an about buyer's process. So you get step-by-step process. You can edit it as much as you want. Typically, I'll add stats because a lot of my particular clients, look for statistics. So it's one of those things where if I'm talking to if I'm talking to new agents about joining our group, I'll typically talk about some of the stats around rates of failure, rates of success, that kind of thing. So I also wanted to include a market overview. I wanted to include financial considerations. And I just said this, most people will make their minds up financially, and finances are always a pain point in any absolutely any transaction, period. So here we might want to talk about mortgage options. We can be creative. We can talk about just the standard, or we can talk about, you can literally add content around the client situation. So just got a new job. Here are my mortgage options, a down payment guide, closing cost guide. You can literally add anything you want. So I want property selection tips. I want a little bit of a tips and tricks on property selection. Additional resources, which will be my glossary of terms, and then a couple other checklists, inspection checklist, things like that. And then I want contact information and my call to action. And then I'll swap this. I'll go 8 and then 9. So 9 would be, in my case, a closing page. So something with my information and anything about me. Okay. So I want now to show you guys Canva and how I would use the system and from sorry how I would use my content development and bring it into Canva. So content development and the visual are usually very difficult. I'd say a year or 2 years ago, you would have to send the content out for creation, and then you'd send the visual out to get the fully produced product. But now I strongly believe that in order to save some budget and save some time, you guys can do this on your own. And you're probably a lot stronger at Canva than me. But if you're not, so what? I'm a beginner too. So we'll jump into Canva. Please know that, again, I'm a beginner. So with this particular document in Canva, I went and I had this built. So this is the full price, full meal deal. Probably cost me $1,000. But I knew what I wanted to say, and then the graphic designer put it in the format. I had a writer edit it as well. So it ended up costing a lot of money. But now with Canva, and any document can be easily uploaded into Canva so that it gives you full access to be able to basically edit. So any PDF can be uploaded into Canva. I don't know if you knew that, but it's true, which makes Canva a really, really, really good tool for realtors or for anybody for that matter. So this is my edited version or my created version that cost me a lot of money. But in the school group under the buyer's classroom, we will have I think four. I think we're up to 4 different guides that you can use, and that you just have to upload into Canva. And so when I say ripping, what I mean by ripping is that anything here can be changed. So even though it's a PDF, it opens it up and lets you edit any of the anything. So this image, for instance, I can delete it. I can replace it with something else. With the content or the copy, I can edit the copy to say whatever I want. It's time to buy a house in Lethbridge. Whatever you want, you can edit the copy. Okay. So my little slogan was going to be, or is, I guess, was, here's how the journey will look. The reason I used this is that I really wanted to show people that buying a home is a journey, and that I was willing to take that journey with them. Okay, so the journey kind of begun, and then we kind of metaphorically we move through the document. So again, you can see that that everything can be edited. The home, the images, if it becomes winter, you can change the image no matter what you want it to look like. And then on the homepage, and I by change it, I mean this document. You can copy this document all you want. You can edit it, change it all you want. It's bought and paid for, copyrighted by me, and I'm giving you absolute access to changing and editing this document. Okay, so you're able to edit images, all of the copy you can edit. So you can write the message using ChatGPT. You can write the message yourself, but at the end of the day, it's all content that you can write. This crazy little piece here, so you can write your own signature. And just make it a little bit fancier. Make sure the pages, because you can add and remove pages, so make sure the pages add up here. And then I do things like we were just looking at in the tips and tricks. So the tips piece here I'll expand on a little bit. So these are 10 steps to purchasing a home. I can say the 10 tips to purchasing a home, but kind of 1 through 10, here they are. If you have a graphic that you want to use, that you're licensed or able to use, then you can just pull that graphic and delete the content here, copy here, and bring in a graphic if that's the case. And by bring in, I mean like uploading it here and just moving it into the document. It's so easy, so easy. So if anybody's used InDesign or any of the Adobe products, um, this is not as good, but much, much, much easier. Okay, so have a piece. Why to work with me? That was in the copy here. Then mortgage pre-approval. This section I think is always good based on the fact that finance is usually the number one pain point, or always the number one pain point. So you can have mortgage pre-approval. You can have why choose me. I think that's duplicate. You can have the process of pre-approval explained. You can have, this is one thing I really like actually. It's basically just a what do you want to say, like here's what they do when you get approved or pre-approved for a mortgage, because people are scared of this stuff. So some people are scared that you'll hit their credit score. What they don't know is a minor hit, and the credit score will allow you, understanding the credit score will allow you to improve your credit and be in a better position to buy by knowing that credit score. So that you want people to know the lenders will check your not only your credit, but also your employment history, your assets and debt service ratios as well. So an important piece, since we're talking a lot about customers wanting to know, being worried about finances, we should be outlining this stuff for clients as well. And then I have a little page on starting a new search. Interesting graphics. Again, this can all be changed. These graphics can be deleted. And then 4 things to do when analyzing photos. Listing agents will do anything they can to make sure that house looks as good as possible. So even if it doesn't look fantastic, the photos, the editing will typically make it look fantastic. So you want to teach your clients how to look for properties. Are you looking to see if there's sun in, like a blue sky in the window, or is the window realistic? So there's just lots of little photo analysis that you can do to help determine if it really looks like that. But the more important thing is you want to be able to walk through what you do with your client. So you're showing them all of these things that you add value with. One of the things that I like too is a my favorite neighborhood section, and this you should tailor if you can to your particular client. So literally, you can just save this as, once you're happy with it, save it as a template, and then edit it and change it based on where people are looking. If people are looking in Southwest Edmonton, maybe I get rid of some of the other stuff and really beef up the information on Southwest Edmonton. You can build a template, copy that template. So you can see mine says up top, copy of original seller's guide. So all that means is that I've copied it a number of times and then changed items in there. So my favorite neighborhoods, you may not want to do this. This was a particular client, I believe, who wanted to see all of South Edmonton, or at least know about all of South Edmonton. So we did a lot. Earlier, when we were looking at the we were looking at the section that was developed by ChatGPT, I talked a lot about the homebuyer's glossary. Well, here's the homebuyer's glossary. I put it towards the end. I don't put it at the end. Put it towards the end because I think it's kind of alphabetical list of things that I can talk to clients about if I feel like we should. So if I'm with a first-time homebuyer, for instance, and they don't know a lot about the purchase process, I'll talk to them about amortization, something very, very simple, but they may or may not know. So we'll talk about different things. If I'm sitting and meeting with a prospective seller and buyer, I'll talk about bridge financing, which is important for them. And even if they don't know, I'll kind of probe and find out what they know about bridge financing, and then I'll connect them with the right people to help them with bridge financing. So market terms are important too. Part of this is you're going to start using some of these terms freely, and I would suggest that your client should know, or at least know where to look for some of the terminology and information. Okay, so glossary terminology is always important, and one of the things where you can use this, like I said, as a crutch and a way to kind of go through each of the alphabetical terms and then explain what they are, emphasize what they are, help them out. Okay, so a lot of your value will be seen in interpreting or helping explain some of these terms. Prime rate, so prime rate versus bank rate, you can talk about those things. And so yeah, this is terrible, by the way, I'll be honest. This is my call to action. Let's do this. I'll usually talk about going down the journey and the path with me, but you can build this out a little bit. But don't forget that you're always meeting with people with this document, or you should be, like I said earlier. So use this as a tool, as a crutch, and it's honestly, it's a great way to, at the beginning of your career, a great way to not have to memorize everything. So you have what you need here. It's a great document. We can edit the heck out of it. We can delete pages. If you look down here, you can delete pages. You can duplicate pages. You can add a page. Basically, everything that you need to do is in here. And even if it's down to formatting, the formatting bar in the top here will allow you to format the document. But I think it just shows you that there's kind of 2 steps to buyer's guide, and they're not very complicated. You can improve your guide over time, but it's as easy as working with ChatGPT or on your own to develop content that'll be used as copy inside the image or inside of the document. And then you can steal people like me, rip people like me off of their buyer's guide. So take my buyer's guide. We've also got 3 other buyer's guide in the school group. You can absolutely take those as well. So it's important for you to understand, I believe, that this doesn't always have to be difficult. And it's important to make things easier on yourself. So a buyer's guide helps make this easier on yourself and helps pick and choose which value adds you want to present to your customer. Okay, so use your buyer's guide. Have fun building it. Build it and then edit it and change it. It'll take you years probably to change it and edit it to exactly what you want. But in Canva, you can export it as a PDF. Please do not flip it to people. Make sure you are there to explain and take advantage of the knowledge that you've put on that piece of paper or somebody else has put on the piece of paper, but take full advantage. Take credit. Don't just flip it to people. So Buyer's Guide is an amazing tool. It'll differentiate you from a lot of other people. So use Buyer's Guides, use meetings, get face-to-face with people. We're in a business where it's face-to-face and unfortunately year-to-year, but let's just keep face-to-face. Okay, so that's Buyer's Guide. Let me know if you have any questions. Happy to help with Canva or point you in the right direction. There's tons of resources online on both Canva and ChatGPT, and I can point you to a few people who can help you as well. But yeah, fantastic. Enjoy building your Buyer's Guide.